was a Trump supporter before this debacle. I heard that somewhere. I don't know if it's accurate. I don't know if it's accurate.
All right, so back to the open letter to America.
So so apparently somebody early on in Trump's candidacy was hired to be somebody high up in the organization of the Trump campaign, and she left. And then she wrote an open letter to America. And I'm really sorry to everybody listening, and I know there's some people that have had discussions with me on Twitter about responding to this letter, because when I read it, somebody sent it to me and said, well, what do you think about this? And so I read it, and I thought it was a complete non-issue. And then I heard it brought up on Glenn Beck, and then I said, okay, it's no longer a non-issue if Glenn Beck is bringing it up. So I was going to take out time in my busy week to write a complete response, an open letter to America response, and I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to do that this week because it is important, because there's a lot of anti-Trump people that are like, look at this letter. You can't support Trump when he's blah, 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 which is all discussed in the open letter. So you all can read it, and hopefully you'll draw the same conclusions I have and that I will put on paper for you. And I'll make an article on sick bias about it. But what I want you to know, I'm preempting my response to it, which is the letter, every single point in that letter can be blasted out of the water. Every point she makes will be blasted out of the water. Do you want to do it on the show, or do you want to just wait until I write a response to it?
We can wait on that. Yeah,
okay, we'll wait. But so read
it. Number one point, though, that I was trying to make is that she claims repeatedly in the letter that Trump didn't want to be president.
Yeah, and we will definitely blow that out of the water. I'll write an article on sick bias. Probably by the time you hear this, if you're not listening to us live, you will be able to find that response.
And let me tease,
because I'll probably do it tonight.
Let me tease that answer with.
We've had a president in the past.
Well, no, let's give the presidency to the one who wants it the most.
You're right. That was one of your
trolling y'all to wait for that article.
Yeah, just wait till the article, because I'm just going to blow that up.
Okay, so here's a guy on that we follow, and I've seen many of his videos. I think he's awesome. He's hysterical. I don't know if he's British. Stefan Molyneux.
He has an accent that would lend one to believe that he is probably from the British Isles.
Okay. Okay.
I would think.
I am going to, my daughter, every time I say Britain, she says England. If I say England, she says Britain. And
so she's constantly just wanting to
she's trolling me. She's playing with me. So I will now refer to it.
You.
I will now refer to it as the British Isles.
Well, then she'll just say England.
No, it's all of them.
Did you teach her, though, that England is a specific country and that Great Britain refers to a set of countries?
Oh.
Because of Ireland and Wales and Scotland.
And they almost separated at one point in time a year ago. Yeah, the vote was close, but it didn't happen.
Right. So anyway.
So here's Stefan. It's a 59-minute video clip.
And you're going to hear all of it here. No,
right now!
No. Just kidding.
It's a 59-minute video clip, and the litany, like you don't have to watch the video because he does a PowerPoint.
But hold on a second. We're kind of jumping ahead, aren't we? Because this video is specifically about the sex scandal.
Well,
the Cuban mistress crisis.
Well, it is, but the sound clip I have of it it's at the very end and talks about Cruz's wife, Cruz, and who that kind of guy is.
Okay.
And so it's 2 minutes long, but listen intently.
And also, if you want to, we'll have it linked somewhere. You gotta watch.
I'll put it. Follow us on Facebook.com/Smith Radio, SMYCHRADIO /345-962.
No.
No, just go Facebook.com Smith Radio. And I'll have the video there, the full-length video there, and you can just listen.
Watch the whole thing, but let's hear a clip from it.
Ted Cruz's wife is a Bush political operative. She was involved in senior strategy decisions with regards to United States policies. She was senior head up in Goldman Sachs. So if you want to say, well, don't attack my wife, then don't borrow money, which you failed to disclose, for which you're being investigated, from the company your wife works for.
Okay, by the way.
Interesting. I
meant to throw this, and as soon as I heard that, I said, okay, here's where I'm going to start the clip at. I know it was a little obscure throwing Cruz's wife out there, but the whole link and everything is all involved. Yes, they borrowed millions of dollars for their campaign and didn't disclose it. They took a loan out.
His response to that, though, was that I disclosed it on one form, but it's supposed to be on two forms. Right. So I didn't intend to hide it. That was that's old news, right?
It's old news, but it's still in the background. Like it hasn't been finished. It's not over with.
Okay, that was his response. In Cruz's defense, apparently what he tried to say was, in his defense, that there are two forms. He filled out one. He didn't know about the second one, and then.
So what about all the other loans he took out?
I don't know. Maybe he
did both forms.
Oh, you're saying that he should have known.
Come on, man!
All right.
This is what I keep running into these issues with Cruz.
Ignorance is no excuse.
This is correct.
That's kind of important to understand. And this is the kind of thing. So Cruz says when Trump is cornered, he lashes out unjustly while complaining about Trump's projection, and that's such a complicated knot and nuts, I don't even know what to say. But here's the most important thing, I think, about this whole thing. Look, we all have our bugaboos. We all get a little nuts about certain things sometimes. And that's why we need people around us to slap us upside the head with a wet fish and say, listen, you're kind of going off the rails here. Remember your principles. Go back, get on the track, go back to the straight and narrow. The presidential nomination race is a dry run for the presidency because Ted Cruz has chosen his close advisors, his campaign managers, his senior strategists. He's chosen them all. Now, either they're telling him, Ted, this is not the way to go. You can't unjustly accuse Trump while complaining about unjust accusations. That's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's hypocritical. And people are going to see right through it.
Okay. I have.
Okay, and this is what we've talked about this whole show. What we're saying is that everything that Cruz attacks Trump on, Cruz then complains and says Trump's attacking him.
Unjustly.
Which...
But and that's the thing that I've been trying to tell Cruz supporters and that they've heard from the people that are attacking Cruz directly is that these are dishonest attacks. You're making you're employing the Democrat strategy of letting the truth put their pants on while the lie it goes halfway around the world, and that's not good. But then you're saying that he's accusing Trump of doing the same thing. And by the way, Trump supporters are really on that. Cruz supporters on Twitter are like, look at the lies, lies coming out of the Trump campaign, and we're like, we played the clip. It's the only rational explanation for anything is coming out of Trump's mouth.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
So either he has people around him who are telling him that, and he's not listening, in which case he's hiring people whose advice he's directly contradicting, which is not good because the president's going to hire a whole bunch of people to advise him on issues. So either people are telling him, Ted, this is nuts, or they're not telling him. They're just like, yeah, Ted, whatever you want to do is great, in which case he's hired a bunch of crazy clown, mirror, sycophantic yes men who are reflecting back to him his own distorted lunacy in these areas.
Which is bad also.
So this is why it's so important, is the fact that he's going out blatantly, hypocritically, attacking someone unjustly while complaining about unjust attacks, saying that things are unproven while making attacks against Trump that are completely unproven. The fact that he's doing all this tells you that either he's surrounded by people who can't rein in his crazy, or they're out there encouraging it and strapping a jetpack to it, and that is exactly what you will get for 4 years, or, God forbid, 8, should Ted Cruz ever get the reins of power.
Now, I've been saying this for a little while now, and we have evidence to support my conclusion here. There's some character issues with him.
Yes.
He may be brilliant.
Yes.
He may know the Constitution backwards and forwards, and that's what the conservatives are really turning into a cult supporting him on, is that he's the only one that's going to fight for the Constitution. He's the only one that's going to act in accordance with the Constitution and not do the unconstitutional things. I don't disagree with any of that, but there is a major, major important thing when it comes to your presidential candidates, and that is character. Character matters. If a communist came up to me and after getting to know him, turned out that he was a person of high moral character, the first thing I would say is, you do realize you can't be communist anymore. That'd be the first thing. But the second thing, I'd probably be like, you know what? His heart's in the right place. But like when you know, you got to read Dungy's book, the former coach of
Tony
Dungy, of the former coach of Indianapolis.
Colts.
Yeah.
Colts.
So the reason Indianapolis had so much success is the one thing they would assess when drafting people. All of them, every person from top to bottom is this guy a good character? Or is this guy a bad character? Is this guy going to do the right thing when nobody's looking? Or is this going to be somebody who's going to be a liability nonstop because we're trying to either make excuses for bad behavior or trying to put out fires places and end up causing a distraction, or even worse, what is it? One bad apple spoils a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, the bushel. Yeah.
I mean, they would reject high-level recruits for drafting, high level, because they had character issues. And what happened is over time, you end up with this giant organization from top to bottom, not only on the field, but off the field, of just good, strong, moral character people that are always doing the right thing at all times and always helping each other out in that regard. All of a sudden, they're winning Super Bowls.
Doing the right thing when nobody's looking is very hard. I understand that. We're all human. We're all flawed.
It's just got to be something that you strive to do at all times.
Right. And if you have that moral character value and you're tempted to do the wrong thing when nobody's looking. Oh, there's a gold bullion bar laying on the ground next to a bank.
right.
Maybe you should probably pick it up, and there's probably security cameras around you. Pick it up and take it back inside. Okay. Other than that, and this, I don't want to get too deep into this thing, but I just want to throw this out there. You can read it yourself. It's on sickbias.com. Cruz camp whistleblower exposes Cruz. This guy, he's anonymous, but he's been tweeting to Ann Coulter, and he tweeted his acceptance letter from the Cruz campaign, just with the name blocked out and a couple other things blocked out. But it shows that he was being paid. He was going to be paid, or was paid, $350,000 for the camp. $3,500 a week. Oh, I got $350. $3,500 a week for being part of the Cruz campaign as a director. Now, you and I have been involved with different campaigns volunteering.
Mm-hmm. Right.
At what level are you that you're receiving $14,000 a month?
State level. That's a little high. I mean, probably national level. Like if you're in the $8,000 to $10,000 a month range, you're probably.
Because we know somebody that's around there, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he's around 8.
Probably. Well, he said he's getting well paid, so he's probably in the $10,000 a month range.
Okay,
but that's just the state level.
So
in an important state, by the way.
Okay, so at $14,000, you
probably at the national level, like a national director.
And this is on the Cruz letterhead. This is, I mean, I don't know how much more real you can get, but the things that he has said that he would know because he's in there kind of lend more validity to it. And I'm not tinfoil hatting this. I've read through it. I've looked through it. I'm going to lend it on a scale of 1 to 10 of credibility. I'm going to lend it at least a 7. On a scale of 1 to 10. At least
pretty high.
Yeah.
That's not tinfoil hat. That's like, wow.
Right. Okay. I mean, we're up there. So he goes throughout the whole campaign. He talks all the way up until he quit and walked away from it. Says, I've washed my hands of this campaign. I've been in politics. I've been in campaigns for the last 20 years. And this one, I'm completely done with politics, and I'll never be involved again. He goes into telling the story about the whole Ben Carson debacle back in Iowa.
This is interesting.
And he said it wasn't on the fly. It wasn't spur of the moment, and it was not